After a few minutes, I followed. I found a grilled side entrance and determinedly rang the bell. So after the boys left from the place, the author was standing there for some time. After some time, he followed. He went near a grilled side entrance and rang the bell. A pleasant looking woman with steel rimmed spectacles appeared. I blinked as I saw that she was dressed in the white uniform of a trained nurse. So they reached a very big villa, and the author, he doesn't know what is that actually. The boys came out and they went inside. After some time, the author wanted to know, as he is very much impressed by the boys, he wanted to know more about the boys. That's why he went near the entrance and he rang the bell, and he was surprised to see a pleasant looking woman with steel rimmed spectacles appeared there, and this woman is dressed in white and she is none other than a nurse. I just brought 2 small boys here. Seeing the nurse, the author told her that he brought 2 boys over there. Yes. Her face lit up. She opened the door to admit me, Nicola and Jacopo. I will take you up. So immediately when the author told the nurse that he brought 2 boys there, the nurse told the names of the boys and started directing the author to the boys. She led me through a cool tiled vestibule. So here the word vestibule, it means lobby. So she was taking the author into a lobby, into the hospital, and this lobby is there in a hospital. So finally the place where the boys and the author have come, it's a hospital, and the author was talking to the nurse now. For hospital, the villa had become, so this villa was converted into a hospital. At the door of a little cubicle, the nurse paused, but her finger to her lips, and with a smile bade me look through the glass partition. So when they were walking in the lobby, when they reached a partition near a glass, immediately the sister stopped and asked the author to be silent, putting her finger on the lips. The 2 boys were seated at the beside of a girl of about 20 who, propped up on pillows, wearing a pretty lace jacket, was listening to their chatter, her eyes soft and tender. One could see at a glance her resemblance to her brothers. A vase of wild flowers stood on her table beside a dish of fruit and several books. After reaching there, the author saw the scene where one girl is popped up, keeping a pillow behind her, sitting on a bed, and the 2 boys were sitting near the girl and chatting with her. So there is a vase on the table, and a bowl of fruits are also there in that room, and several books he observed there in the room. Won't you go in? The nurse murmured. Lucia will be pleased to see you. See here, one more character is introduced, Lucia. Lucia is none other than the sister of these 2 boys, and the boys have come over there to see Lucia, who got admitted in the hospital. So after seeing the scene in the room, the sister murmured to the author. Murmuring means telling very slowly so that their voice won't disturb those boys. So sister asked the author to get into the room, so that the sister also advised the person, telling that Lucia will feel happy seeing the author. I shook my head and turned away. So the author, he is not willing to enter the room, because he doesn't want to become an interruption in the conversation of the boys and the girl. So he shook his head and he turned away. He did not enter into the room. I felt I could not bear to intrude upon this happy family party, and he told to the nurse, telling that he doesn't want to become an interruption in a family party. But at the foot of the staircase, I drew up and begged her to tell me all she knew about these boys. So he doesn't want to disturb those boys in the conversation, but his eagerness, his enthusiasm got increased after seeing the scene. He wanted to know more about the boys. So he questioned the nurse, he requested the nurse to explain him about the boys. She was eager to do so. Immediately when the author asked the sister to tell him about the boys, she is so eager to tell. They were, she explained, quite alone in the world, except for this sister Lucia. Their father, a widower, a well-known singer, had been killed in the early part of the war. Shortly afterward, a bomb had destroyed their home and thrown the three children into the streets. They had always known a comfortable and cultured life. Lucia had herself been training as a singer, and they had suffered horribly from near starvation and exposure to the cold winter. So now, after the author asked the sister to tell about the two boys, the sister started narrating the past of the two boys. Initially, she started explaining, telling that they are alone, all alone in this world except their sister Lucia. And the father of the boys is a widower. Widower means we can easily understand that mother is already dead. The boy's mother is already dead and the father is alone, who is taking care of these three children. And his father is a well-known singer, and unfortunately he was killed in the early part of the war. A war is going on, and in the early part of the war, even the father of these boys is also killed. Shortly afterwards, a bomb had destroyed their home and thrown the three children into the street. Another unfortunate thing, after the death of their father, the one bomb destroyed their house and the three children were thrown into the streets. They had always known a comfortable and cultured life. Previously, when their father is there, they were leading a comfortable and cultured life. Lucia had herself been training as a singer. Along with her father, Lucia is also trained as a good singer. And they had suffered horribly from near starvation and exposure to the cold winter. So after they lost their house, they suffered with starvation. Starvation is a very horrible condition for children. So starvation is a state where there won't be any food. So finally, when they lost their father, they lost their house, and they suffered with horrible starvation in a cold winter. They don't even have their house to live. For months they had barely kept themselves alive in a sort of shelter they built with their own hands amidst the rubble. So here, for months, these students, these boys, for months, as they don't have their house, these two boys, they have constructed their own small place where they can live, and this place they constructed in the amidst. Amidst means in the middle of rubble. Rubble means the big rocks, collapsed buildings. In that area itself, they lived for few months. Then for 3 years, the Germans ruled the city. The boys grew to hate the Germans. For continuously after this incident, 3 years Germans ruled Italy, and these boys, they developed a sort of agony against the Germans. When the resistance movement began scarcely to form, they were among the first to join. When again after 3 years, again the hesitation started. The people of Italy started revolting against German. When such revolution started, these boys were first to join the revolution. When the war was over and we had peace at last, they came back to their beloved sister. Finally, they took part in the revolution. The war is over and everything peace prevailed. So finally, they came back to their house near their sister. and they found her suffering from tuberculosis. What happened when they came back? The sister, she is suffering from tuberculosis of the spine. What is tuberculosis? So tuberculosis, it is an infectious bacteria disease characterized by the growth of tumors in the tissues. So tuberculosis, it is a disease which got affected by the bacteria characterized by the growth of tumor cells in the tissues. She paused and took a quick breath. So after telling this, the nurse even, she felt bad, she paused, she stopped saying and she took a quick breath. So immediately the author questioned, did they give up? The author questioned the nurse, asking whether the boys give up because the condition is very bad, very worse. The boys lost their father, they lost their house, and after participating in a big war, after taking part in a big war, they got success and they came back with peace and identified that the sister is suffering from tuberculosis. I do not have to answer that question. Immediately the nurse said, there is no need to answer that question. They brought her here, induced us to take her into the hospital. Immediately the boys, they did not give up even then. They still started fighting. They brought her to the hospital and persuaded the nurse, means the people of the hospital, to admit her. In the 12 months she has been our patient, she has made good progress. In the 12 months means the Lucia got admitted in the hospital 12 months back. In this 12 months, she got progress in her health. There is very hope that one day she will walk and sing again. So after seeing the progress in the health of Lucia, the nurse is confidently telling that a day will come when again she starts walking and singing. Of course, everything is so difficult now. Food so scarce, and dear, we could not keep going unless we charge a fee. The nurse also mentioned, so nowadays there is increase in the price like anything. Food became scarce and the prices got hike. So they have to charge the patients, otherwise it is not possible for them to run the hospital. But every week Lucia's brothers have made their payment, she added simply. So even though they are charging money from those two boys, they every week without any delay they make their payment. She added simply. I don't know what they do. I do not ask. Work is scarce in Verona. But whatever it is, I know they do it well. So she added. She says that she doesn't know what the boys do because the work there in Verona is scarce. What they do, they don't know. But every week, without any delay, they pay the hospital bills. Yes, I agreed. They couldn't do it better. So the author knew very well. The sister maybe she doesn't know what the boys are doing and how are they earning the money. But the author, he knew it very well. So he said they couldn't do it better. Means what all the effort they can put, they are putting. They can't do better than this. I waited outside until the boys rejoined me. Then drove them back to the city. They sat beside me, not speaking. For my part, I did not say a word. I knew they would prefer to feel that they had safely kept their secret. Yet their devotion had touched me deeply. War had not broken their spirit. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life, gave promise of a greater hope for human society. After some time, after talking to the nurse, the author went back to his car. The boys came back. They sat quietly in the car. They did not speak anything, and even the author also did not reveal the secret, what he knew about the boys to them. So the author let that to be a secret. As the boys tried to keep it as a secret, even the author also remained calm. I knew they would prefer to feel that they had safely kept their secret. The author understood that the boys were trying to keep it as a secret. That's why the author also did not reveal anything. He also did not talk to the boys anything. Yet their devotion had touched me deeply, but the author got impressed very much because they are very small boys. Even though they are very young, they are so responsible. So their devotion touched the author very deeply. War had not broken their spirit. They were the boys, even they took part in the war, they were not disturbed. Their spirit was not broken by the war. Their selfless action brought a new nobility to human life. The action, the work they do brought a new look to the human life. Gave promise to a greater hope for human society. So the way they behave, the way they are helping their sister, the way they took part in the war and all, and the spirit shown by the boys brings a great hope for human society. About the author. The author of the story Two Gentlemen of Verona is A.J. Cronin. 1896 and 1974. He was a doctor by training. Basically, the narrator, the author of the story, The Two Gentlemen of Verona, he is a doctor. He practiced medicine in Wales and in London. It was while recovering from a breakdown in health that he wrote his first novel, Hatter's Castle. So this doctor, he met with a breakdown, and when he was recovering from his health, he wrote his first novel, Hatter's Castle. It was a huge success. The first novel itself brought reputation to the author A.J. Cronin. The first novel, it is a huge success. Cronin gave up practicing medicine and took to writing as a career. So as the first novel is a great success, he left his medical practice and he took writing as his career. He wrote a number of novels and short stories. Starting with the first success, he never turned back. He wrote number of novels and short stories. Among his best known novels are The Citadel, The Key of the Kingdom, and The Spanish Gardener. Some of his novels have been made into successful films. The title of the story is that of one of the early plays of Shakespeare. The story recounts the hard life chosen by two young boys so that they could pay for the treatment of their sister afflicted with tuberculosis. The boys sacrifice their sincerity and devotion to the cause, and maturity they display in their actions gives a new hope for humanity. So this is the story which is taken from the plays of Shakespeare. And here in the story we see the two boys who work very hard for earning the money for the treatment of their sister who is suffering from tuberculosis. So in this story we can see the sacrifices of the boys, their sincerity and devotion to the cause, and the maturity levels of the boys they display in their actions gives a new hope to the humanity.
If you like this video, please give a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel to get more videos on CBSE syllabus.